Hello everyone, I see some of you are already online. So we are getting ready for the webinar to start in a couple of minutes. So we appreciate that you're here today and we'll be starting soon. Go. Well, leading to International Women's Day this year, you will have the opportunity to hear from and speak directly to inspiring women from the Americas and learn from their research and experience of studying in the UK. Today we will hear about engineering at the University of Sheffield. My name is Karina Pichardo, and I'm a project coordinator for higher education at the British Council. The British Council is the UK's organization for cultural relations and education, and our work includes promoting opportunities for international students to study in the UK. And we are proud to be joined by Hema Greenup, international EU and UK student recruitment at the University of Sheffield that you can see on your video. And we're also proud to be joined today by María Guadalupe Martinez Escobedo, who completed her Master of Sciences in Aerospace Materials at the University of Sheffield in 2016. Thank you both for being here today. María Guadalupe, who will be talking about her experience of studying at the University of Sheffield, is from Guanajuato, Mexico. She is an aeronautical engineer and works for General Electric Aviation as a designer engineer in variable geometry and actuation systems. She is responsible for providing engineering support on commercial and military programs at GE Aviation and ensuring compliance on safety, quality, and design of parts. She graduated as an aeronautical engineer at the National Polytechnic Institute and has been recognized as a promising engineer in Mexico. Today, she will talk about her time studying in Sheffield and what it's like to study in the male-dominated field of aerospace engineering. Remember that you will also have the opportunity to submit your questions at any time during her presentation by typing your questions into the Q&A box that you will see at the bottom of your screens. We will collect all the questions and address them at the end of her presentation. Well, over to you, Maria. I think you're starting, and I will start your presentation.
Thank you, Karina. Thank you, Dima. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. It's my absolutely pleasure and welcome. And thank you to the British Council for having me today. And also big thank you to the University of Sheffield for being supporting throughout my career. So I'm very happy to be here with all of you. I'm going to share a little bit on how was my journey since I select Sheff Uni until I get into my studies, then a little bit more on my degree experiences afterwards, some of my achievements, and what about me now. So feel free to really think about those questions because I'm going to basically go very quickly through my slides and with the intention of having more time for answering your questions. So think about them while I am sharing. And welcome. So yeah, without further ado, let's start. And my journey since I selected the Sheffield Uni until I started. It all began when I was a student, and when I made my decision, I tried to write a timeline so you to have a perspective of the time that it took me to actually get there. So when I was still a student, I remember very clearly sixth semester of the career, I made the decision of going abroad to pursue a master's degree. And when I made that decision, it was more important to me to see that it was a deep commitment to myself to get and reach that goal. So I started to get a lot of information to do my research about different programs and universities. Luckily, I got the website for Across the Pond, where it helped me to do some filtering in more specific programs related to my area. And that website was really helpful also for me to see what were the requirements for these universities. And so I start to prepare for applying. One of the most important requirements that takes time to prepare and to actually get your certificate, it's the IELTS, or the English certified. And then with all this information, I did my application and I got an offer letter from the University of Sheffield. And with that, I was able to apply for a scholarship. And in this case, because I am from Mexico, I applied to the National Council of Science and Technology, which is CONACYT. And they have national scholarships and regional scholarships. So in my first attempt, I did it for the nationals. And luckily for me, I got the scholarship. But however, I was not able to accept that scholarship because my documents were on hold. In that particular moment, my university went on strike. So my documents were on hold. So I was not able to actually get the scholarship. And you can imagine how hard it was for me, how many frustration I was feeling, how sad. And eventually, yes, I was crying for a couple of days, but then I said to myself, okay, let's find a way to sort out this situation, because I really want to do this. And so I went to visit CONACYT in Mexico City, and I asked for guidance on what to do, because this situation was out of my hands. And they actually suggest me to write a letter where I was transferring that scholarship to someone else, because we were in time to actually do that, to allow someone else to take that resource. So I follow that advice with all the deep sadness in my heart, because as you can see, I was working for getting into this program for the last 2 years of my university time. So in that moment, when I thought that I was so close to get it, then it just vanished. The opportunity vanished, and I was really sad. But in that time, I also had the chance to join industry, automotive industry. So that really helped me to canalize my energy and focus on my work and just continue to do my best. And then when I explained to the University of Sheffield what just happened, that I was not able to attend the module that particular year, I was really surprised to see their response, because they were very, very kind in understanding what was happening. And for me, I was actually shocked when they say, don't worry, we understand this is completely out of your hands. So we're going to extend your offer letter for another year. And I was, like I say, I was shocked, because I never expected something like that. For me, it was just over. That dream was not going to happen. But then with that offer letter extension, I just trust that it was going to happen and resume my efforts. I was working very hard in that time. So I remember that after some time, they contact me again to say, hey, Maria, your place is still available here. Do not forget that we're waiting for you. So that made me like realize that, yes, that was a dream that I was pursuing. And because in that moment I was working and my progression in automotive industry was doing great, I was not actually thinking again to go abroad. So when this contact came across, I just resumed all my efforts and applied for the regional scholarship. And again, I got it. So I got the scholarship, and then I was just the happiest person in the world. Of course, there was a lot of uncertainty because I was leaving a very good job that I had at the moment, but I knew that this was for something better, and that was something for helping me to level up my game in the industry. So with that, that's my story on how all my rides started. And then I went straight from Leon to the University of Sheffield in Sheffield. So next, please. Then this is just a couple of pictures that I wanted to share on how was my life as a student. It definitely is one of the most incredible experiences of my life because I joined the rugby team. I was able to have a lot of activities. They became my second family, and I met so many people. And I think this is one of the greatest things that you get to experience with these opportunities, because the multiculturality that is in Sheffield is just um, fantastic. You have people from everywhere, and you get to actually see different cultures, different ways of thinking, and get to be part of that. It's very, very fulfilling, and also opens your mind to different options for different ways of seeing the same situation. And I think this is where personal growth comes across to your professional growth. And I had the chance to work and collaborate with the university in two campaigns. These are pictures that are on the bottom left side. There are two videos where one is when I am explaining about the program, and another one is just a day in the life of a Sheffield engineer, where you get to see a lot of iconic places of the city. And that was something that I just really enjoyed. And I always felt like the staff was supportive to me, and that was really important because when you go abroad, you basically are on your own. So having the staff being this warm and helpful really makes it easier for you to feel ready to start your program. And what else can I tell you? That if you plan well, you can get to see a lot of beautiful places in England. I'm making some pictures here, and I've added some places that I got to visit because I planned, like during the week, I was going to study as hard as I ever study, and I was going to train rugby as hard as I could. And then during the weekends, I was going to explore. So that's what I did during my first semester. I went to see many places around Sheffield. And then for the second semester, I went a little bit further for the rest of Europe. So I think that was great. And that was kind of how was my life as a student. Next. Okay, so after I got my studies completed, I had the chance to come back to Mexico and join GE Aviation. And GE Aviation is it's a company that builds or develops engines for aircraft. So we are basically focused on that particular area of the industry, engines. So with my experience and my credentials, it was very easy for me to get into the material science section. And while there, I was also part of the Edison program, which is a rotational program that gets you to see different areas of the company within your time, which is 2 years. And that was a really great experience for me. I was working for materials 1 year and a half. And then I went to design, then to fleet, which is customer support. And then I came back to design. And during this particular time in those other teams, I was able to contribute in different projects where the experience I got from Sheffield Uni and this particular program really gave me the tools to propose different ways of doing things, to have a better understanding of the different manufacturing processes that we use in this challenging industry. And with that, I got to participate in the Disruptive Technologies Challenge with the team, and we got finalists in that, and then we won the Hidden Factories Challenge, and that was great, also with global impact in this too. And then I got to contribute in other projects with another different teams for invention disclosure letters. And those inventions I got to contribute from the material side. Either it was with materials application or manufacturing processes that were very innovative. So that was great. And I think that without that knowledge that I got from the UK, I wouldn't have the opportunity to basically create these new ways of doing things and develop proposals with very solid academic substantiation, if that makes sense to you. And a little bit on this ride in GE is that I went to a couple of trainings abroad, one in New York, where you have the picture down below on the left side. And then last year I was in India, Bangalore, India, and I was in another training. So it really is great because as I was exposed before to that multiculturality, I think that really helped me in this point of my career where I get to work with people from every part of the world. So I think that's something that I really encourage you to experience. So this is about my career. And then all those little small wins that I got throughout these years got me to be one of the young engineering talent in Mexico. And I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight of that in my next slide. Yeah, so that was, that's the magazine that's been very famous right now. And that magazine is a business magazine that it really is focused on industry and engineering. And their purpose is to expose new talents of national engineering people that is under 30 years old. So with this edition, they do this once a year. They want to highlight what young engineers are doing in these companies and how they are contributing to their transformation. So I got to be there. I was nominated from my manager in that time, who saw all those contributions that I was making in my different roles, and he thought that I was a great candidate for the company. And luckily, we got among the top 4. They couldn't tell you first, second, or third. They just say top 4. And I was very happy to share this experience with the other colleagues there. And that was a great way to also represent the aerospace industry and how us as a Mexican engineers can help to shape the future of the industry in our country. So yeah, that's it from my side. I hope you can now have a little more idea of what I do and to raise your questions, because I really want to give more time for your questions. So I think until now, it's okay from my side.
Thanks, Maria. Such a wonderful presentation. I think now it's time for Gemma to start her presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, that was really, really interesting and so inspirational. So I'm going to give a little bit more information about some of the things we're doing here at Sheffield to really inspire females to enter engineering and to solve the inequality which we currently have within the field of engineering. So I'll just bring up the slides. One moment. So one thing that we're doing is that we're really highlighting all the success and these outstanding females that we have within engineering at the university. So I'd really encourage you to go onto this webpage, which has profiles of our females who are teaching engineering, who have been engineers at the University of Sheffield, They've now got fantastic careers like Maria, and some of our students that are still currently studying engineering. So one of our academics who I'd like to introduce first of all, so this is Claire. So Claire is a senior technician and teacher here at the University of Sheffield within the bioengineering lab. And she works on looking at cells and tissues and thinking about how she could use all those skills to solve some of the problems that we face within the fields of medicine. And she transfers that knowledge to the students, provides them with practical problems to undertake in the lab that she supervises. Then another one is, so this is one of our academics within mechanical engineering. And once again, she's one of the examples of working on different fields of engineering, solving problems to do with mechanical engineering and also through medicine as well. So just linking in those different fields together. And here we have Katie. So Katie studied an aerospace degree here at the University of Sheffield. And she now has a fantastic career within Rolls-Royce, working as an aerospace engineer. And she just highlights one of the turning points in her life was when she met the astronaut Helen Sharman. And she remembers that moment where she spoke to her and she was just so inspired by what she was sharing about engineering, where she'd been, and that's what made her decide that she wanted to be an aerospace engineer. And here we have Claudia as well too. So she's working on problems relating to rehabilitation. So looking how we could support people with different mobility problems and to help provide them with the necessary needs and support to allow them to enhance their lives. And I just love this quote from Josephine as well too. It's just showing that engineering is a challenging field, but it doesn't limit you. As we saw, you can still play rugby, do anything that you like. It's an option in life, but you can still live your life around it. And Josephine just highlights that her family and her children and how she loves engineering, but also as well, she's got some of those elements alongside it that she enjoys and she lives through as well. So I'll just make that full screen. So as I said, our aim within the Faculty of Engineering is to say that women can enter into this amazing, exciting and challenging career within engineering. And we can provide the support, skills and knowledge to provide you with that career to help solve some of those problems that we face in day-to-day life and to enhance the world around us. So we're looking at raising the awareness of engineering and sharing all these benefits, but also as well to kind of share what Sheffield has to bring to engineering. So Sheffield was originally, as a university, was funded through the local people. They each gave a small amount of money to start off the university a long while ago. And we growed on the kind of area of the Peak District, which is a national beautiful countryside area. And we strengthened ourselves and looked at our area and developed all these different aspects which fed into the university's teaching relating to engineering. We provide immense support and progression opportunities through the university, both for anyone from any background, any country, any gender. We're here to support everyone individually to help them succeed and achieve their potential. So some of the other initiatives we do at the university. So here in the UK, we have National Women in Engineering Day, and each year we go down to the city centre and we provide activities for younger people to learn more about engineering, think about how they could solve problems and to encourage them to think outside the box of this area of engineering that they've never even heard of before. And it's our students here at the university that create these activities, speak to these younger children and inspire them. And here's a few of the images from that day. As you can see, we've got some of the equipment that we have here at the university. So we have the Now robot up at the middle at the top there. So this is a humanoid robot which actually reacts to you. So our students here at the university program that robot. So if you wave at it, it might blink back at you. If you nod at it, you can make it say something to you. And the students get these skills through their degree to allow them to program this robot. Then we had kind of activities which allowed the students to learn the basics relating to building, touching on areas of civil engineering and mechanical engineering. And then we even had a candy floss machine at the event as well too. But this was to demonstrate areas of chemical engineering. So how we can change raw materials such as sugar into another element, candy floss. However, on an industrial scale, chemical engineers are doing this. So they're taking one material and turning it into something else through a chemical engineering process to make it more useful or into a different property for us. And we have our Exploring STEM for Girls event as well too. So that's local females within the Sheffield City region, slightly older age group in high school, so roughly around 14 to 16 years old. And once again, we highlight the different fields of engineering that are open to them. So the middle picture on the far hand side, so that is a wing of a glider. So some of our students outside their course are involved in a society called Vellaticus, where they create this human-powered, pedal-powered glider from scratch each year. And they take this out into the local countryside and launch it off one of the hills as a human-powered aeroplane or a glider. And that's just one of the elements that you can get involved with at the University of Sheffield outside your engineering degree to do more engineering as well. And we've recently launched our Women in Computer Science as well. So we're celebrating female academics, students and professionals within the fields of computer science and data analytics. And we have our Women in Engineering Student Society. So this was founded in 2012 with the recognition that we can further support females within this field. And they're an amazing group, really inspirational for younger generations, but also a fantastic support mechanism for each other as well too. The society is open for both female and males to join. And they recognise that together we can solve and we can work towards making engineering more equal between gender balances. They also set up opportunities to go and visit different companies to gain that industry experience and to develop skills which help them progress on completing their engineering degree. And one thing that they say is that they really want to show the huge diversity of engineering as a discipline. It's a way that we can bring various different backgrounds, different knowledge bases, and that's what engineering is all about. If we didn't have different ideas or different people, then we would fall into the same kind of mindset and we wouldn't come up with new innovative solutions. So that's why it's so important that we really do encourage everyone from all different backgrounds and walks of life to enter this fantastic subject area and careers that are within engineering and computer science. One thing that our Women in Engineering Society has done, which I'll just touch on briefly, is that they've developed a children's book. So they took the initiative to do this themselves. They wrote a story relating to Susie and Ricky, who are two characters who are primary school age as well, who end up going on a school trip and meeting an alien, and it's a very kind of fun, enjoyable story. But they've used this to speak to young children around 7, 8 and explain to them what engineering is. And through all these initiatives, we are hoping to change the difference and make a difference within engineering to equal out the balance of genders within this exciting field. The University of Sheffield is recognised as a fantastic place for females to work, and this has been done through us achieving the Athena Swan Award as well. Multiple departments have achieved this through sharing what they are doing to support females within this field. So you've heard a little bit about how we're making a difference, or the initiatives that we're doing relating to encouraging females into engineering, to create outstanding female engineers like Maria. But how do we provide the skills at the University of Sheffield and develop students when they're here? So we have a range of different academic programmes within the areas of engineering and computer science that we offer at the university, 10 in total. And we have a range of different academic staff, technicians, lab support, and various administrative staff to support students throughout their degrees at the university. A state-of-the-art building that our students are taught in is the Diamond. This has 19 specialist engineering laboratories, including a analytics lab, a structures lab, a virtual reality centre, robotics arena, 3D printers, jet engines. It's just an amazing area for students to work, learn more about engineering, and to get involved and work on equipment that is industry standard and that will be similar to that they're working on when they go into careers. And once again, that's a good opportunity to evidence to employers how they can solve some of these problems working on equipment that they have similarly in their industry area. And all our teaching is formed by our research, which our academics are completing. And this has led to partnerships with such companies as Rolls-Royce, GSK, Siemens and Boeing. So our academics are supporting them with solving problems, and they're also feeding into our teaching as well too, and supporting our current students. So these links with industry really do help students. So our companies come onto campus to meet our students and to ask them about what they're doing, to see if they would fit into their company, and to provide them with those opportunities for industry placement, work experience and graduate careers as well. So just to give another taste as to where some of our students have gone on to, having completed their degrees. So we have Simon, who studied bioengineering, who now works for the National Health Service here in the UK. We have Nikki, who works for Jaguar Land Rover, so she did a materials engineering degree. Radina, who did software engineering and who now works at Amazon. And a range of different students who are working, who have graduated and are working in fantastic companies, both small and large, all across the world. So that was a bit of an overview about some of the ways that we are creating outstanding female engineers here at the University of Sheffield and trying to change the perception of engineering. And also an overview of some of the courses and the opportunities that we offer here. Yeah, I will leave it there for the moment, and then there'll be the opportunity to ask any questions.
Thanks, Gemma, and thanks, Maria, for your presentation. They were really interesting and useful. Now, as you mentioned, we're gonna start with the Q&A questions. So please, this is your chance to start asking your questions. You will see at the bottom of your screen a Q&A box where you can send your questions. We got some through the chat, which we'll be also asking. So our first question is for Maria. It's a question from Angelica Espinosa, and she wants to know which career did you study in Mexico, Maria?
Hello, I did Aeronautical Engineering in the National Polytechnic Institute, Campus Guanajuato, because some of you asked that. So it's not in Mexico City, it was in Guanajuato.
Great. Also, we have another question from an anonymous attendee who wants to know what advice or tips can you give to someone who is an undergraduate student?
Okay, that's a great question, and I will give you my quick advice on this, and is that actually to anyone, whatever you do, even if this is just one homework, a project, or it doesn't matter how small or large it is the task, if it has your name, you have to see it as your craft. So you really have to commit to it and do your best. And as I tried my best when I was doing my undergraduate, I really took that seriously. And I tried to learn as much as I could for all the different subjects that I had. And I can tell you that at the end of the day, it pays off because it really gives you a great insight of all the possibilities, of all the options that you have for continuing in your career. So a bit of the advice will be to do your best, because the way that you perform as a student, it's the way that you will continue to perform in your job and in your daily life. So I will advise you to do your best always, and to continuously seek for leveling up your game. In that regard, is that if you had a chance to study another language, do it. If you have, if you can plan your time to study music, for example, or painting or sculpture or something that is related to arts as well, my advice would be to give it a go. It will definitely develop new skills for you to use in your career, and that's some of my advice.
Okay, great. There you go. Now we have a question which I think maybe Gemma will be better answering these questions. It's from Camila Alarcón. She's from Chile, a mechanical engineering student, and she's interested in the area of aeronautics. And she wants to know if it's possible to apply to the university and start her career in the UK.
Okay. So we offer courses at the university, master's courses. They are all full-time, so they will take place over 12 months. And unfortunately, because of the level of intensity of the course, it's not possible to study and work at the same time within your career. However, that course can set you up for your future career, whether you choose to kind of return to your home country to select your career, or whether to look at options within the UK. So there's multiple different routes available. And maybe Maria could say a little bit about her kind of journey of applying for jobs once she completed her master's course. That might be useful for you potentially.
Do you want me to share something on that question?
Yeah, so yeah, I think, would you be able to share about your process of applying for jobs having completed your degree, please?
Sure. Well, basically you have to target your job search, like where would you like to work. Often we have to do some research, and then when you prepare your CV, this is something that I also learned in Sheffield Uni, because they have this department which helps you to build your CV, and that's a great way if you have the chance to be in that situation where you are in Sheffield. Do use that resource of going to the department to ask for CV review, because they can give you very helpful tips. And the main tip for that is to target your CV towards the job position that you are pursuing. And in that regard, when you read the advert, it's very important to highlight how your experience in this program will fit in this new role, and do your best to say how all those skills that you just have learned can be helpful for the company that you are pursuing to join.
Great. We all have more questions to go, but I just want to mention, because I noticed some of you are raising your hand. So just in case you want to ask a question out loud, you can raise your hand, and after this question, I can allow you to speak, so you can actually speak to Maria or him and ask your question if any of you wants to speak out loud instead of just typing your question. Just raise your hand and wait for us so you can speak. So the next question, I think it's also for Hema. They are asking if it's possible to get a scholarships at Sheffield for a master's degree. And another one that is also related is, what is the cost to study at Sheffield?
I think what will be easier for these two questions is that I will type into your question a link to the website which gives details on the funding and scholarship opportunities, and please take the time to read that. We have multiple different options available, and then if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me and I can leave my email address. We have an email address on that website as well too. So I'll type that in now for you. Thanks.
Great. Yeah, so everyone that sign up will also get, I just want to remind you that you will get the recording, and you can get Hema's email too if you want to follow up with any question regarding Sheffield as well. The next question is from Ricardo del Castillo. It says, Maria, you mentioned that you were part of the EDDP program. Do you think the IELTS exam was a good exam provided by the British Council to get inside GE Aviation?
Hello. Yes, I think it's important to always have a certified agent for your language. In this case, I did both. I did TOEFL IBT because that was what was more accessible for me, because none of these two certification exams were taking place in my city. So I have to look at other places to go and do the test. So IBT was the nearest option. So I took that one first, and then with more time, I went to Guadalajara to apply for the IELTS. And the difference that I saw with these two type of certifications was massive. I believe that if you prepare for IELTS, you will really get to assess your level of skill within the actual language, which TOEFL IBT, I don't think it does it in 100%. And with the IELTS, you really have the option to really show how can you use the language for expressing yourself in the different areas, writing, listening, speaking. So I do encourage you to prepare for IELTS, because it's also going to help you as a good reference of your command in English in your job or wherever you want to go after your program.
Great. We also got some more questions. I'm just trying to. Okay, so the next question is also for Maria. It's from, so Julio Cesar Mosqueda Rojas asked a similar question as Fabiola Osorio, and they want to know if what were the obstacles that you faced through your career as a woman, and also if you ever had to deal with gender violence or discrimination of any kind, and what did you do about it?
Okay, so for the first question, I will say that the most difficult thing to do is to manage your time. And I think in order to face that issue is to have your priorities clear, and because then you will able to see what things are the ones that you're going to give more time to, and what are the things that really will take you to where you want to be. So that will be the first obstacle, because as you can see, I really like to do many things and that is often very difficult because I don't have time for everything, and then I have to prioritize. So that's one of the biggest obstacles for me, managing time. But then when you do this properly, you will get the results that you want. And then in terms of gender violence or something, fortunately for me, no. Although I've been in this industry, an automotive industry, being sometimes the only woman in the team, I can tell you that it all depends, or my experience has taught me that if you respect yourself and if you respect your work and you do your best, people will end up respecting you. And it is a way you can always show how good you are at what you do, and that's a great way to actually win respect from your female for your male peers. So I think as a woman, we have plenty of strengths that we can combine with our male colleagues, because we have the attention to detail that is just fantastic if we use it well. But our male colleagues have other skills and strengths that can help us to build great projects. So I think the way I see this is that gender in general is that we have to come up as a team to deliver good results. And that is the way that has helped me to go through this, or to navigate through this industry, which yes, it is true. You're not always working with other women, but I think that can be also a strength sometime. And it all comes to how important and how much respect do you do for what you do and yourself. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah. We also have another question from Miguel Juarez and Lucila Isabel Garcia, and they want to know, why did you choose to study your master's in the UK and not another country? And how was your experience in England for the first time?
Okay, I chose England because since little I was able to see UK programs in TV. So I think I was like, really, I don't know if you might remember this Changing Rooms TV show. I was absolutely fan of that. And I was always like, I really wanted to visit England. That looks like a beautiful place. And I think that unconsciously, when I was doing my research, it came across. And it came across as my first option as well, because at the moment I only had English, and if I would consider another country, then I will need to also apply myself in that language. So I can tell you that it was a bit of a trade on a place that I really wanted to visit, and also that the language was okay to me. And I also knew that they had a great culture and they were leading the field for the aerospace industry. So I think all that was a huge combination for me that made it attractive, and that helped me to uh, put the target just in the UK. And the experience was amazing. As I told you, I played rugby even here in Mexico. So they were my family while I was there, and the experience was just amazing. I really got to experience trainings harder as you can ever tell yourself, like in the snow, in the most harsh environments. But then also you have all this family around you helping you, and it's great. And traveling to the different match locations, that was a great way to also see different places around Sheffield. So in overall, I think the experience was just one of the most amazing things that has happened to me in my life.
Great. Well, we got a lot of questions still to answer. We might not have enough time to go through all of them, but remember that we will be sending both Maria and Gemma these questions if you want to send like for them to answer, and we will follow up with them so you can actually get an answer from them. Well, next question is from Lisette Rojas, and I think some other people are also asking kind of similar questions. Says, first of all, congratulations on all your achievements. She's proud of you being a woman and Mexican, and she wants to know about English language for your scholarship. If you can share which language requirements did you need for apply for a scholarship. And I know other people were also asking about the range of age that you need for a scholarship, and if the scholarship that you were granted was enough through the through your whole studying period in the UK.
Okay, so I'm going to then just go straight to the questions. And for the language, they require you to do IBT for the scholarship for the CONACYT, but they also accept IELTS. And like I just suggested before, I will give you advice of going for IELTS, and you don't have to have a certain age to apply for the scholarship. It actually only depends on the offer letter and your application in general, but they never mention a particular age. And then I think the other question, well, thank you, Lisette, for congratulating me. I am very happy that you share these achievements with me, so thank you. And the other question was on, what was the other question about? I think I have.
Yeah, I think it was related to your scholarship that you were granted in Mexico. Like if
it was enough.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it was enough, and it's great question because the amounts that they give you depends if you are in London area or if you are in the rest of England. So I think the quantity, it's okay. Sheffield is very affordable, but I will also suggest to have your savings just in case and for any emergency that you may have. And across the pond also suggest you to have a bit of a savings for you to use in at least for the first month. The scholarship will take a couple of days to be in your card. So if you, for example, come and you want to pay for your rent, you have to give something in advance. So because you're not having the scholarship or the money in your card yet, it's always great to have the use of your savings for that, for example. In my experience, I was not in the need of using my savings. I was okay with just the scholarship. Mm-hmm.
Great. Another question is from Joshua Fuentes. He wants to know, how do you apply your materials knowledge in your job? And I think it will be also a good opportunity for you to start your poll questions so we can also hear from your audience.
Awesome. Well, like I mentioned, I was 1.5 years in the materials engineering section. So there I got to apply all what I've learned in the master's, because I was not very aware of all the different types of materials that exist, what are their properties, and how do they behave when you process them. So in what I do here to support repair procedures, to support a new product introduction, and then do characterization of materials, I can tell you that my background really helped me to shorten my learning curve in those processes and to have a better understanding on what were the issues and how to tackle them. So, and even in this position as a design engineer, I have to look after my materials and my manufacturing process, because the way we decide how to produce a part can have an impact in the material properties in the end of the product and its life. So it's very important to have some background on it, but I think it adds value for me and for the job that I do. The fact that I can propose new manufacturing processes, or you can name it, like I can have options and alternatives whenever I am designing.
I hope that answers your question. We can go for one more from Kevin Vasquez, and he wants to know a little bit more about your perspective about the aerospace industry in Mexico particularly, and if there's any advice that you can tell the audience related to the field in Mexico and some places like Querétaro.
Okay, so I think we are in a good path towards the evolution of the aerospace industry in Mexico. We are very far from other countries, that is true, but I truly believe that we have a great talent in the country and that we can do just unimaginable things. It's just that we can have a way to get the resources, and then we'll be ready to tackle any challenge in the aerospace industry to level up. But it's true that it's a difficult field because not many people is interested in it. They don't see the opportunities that the industry in general brings to the society. For example, leveling up the professional level, that is insanely positive for the society. So I think if we get to involve people in what would be the outcome of people interested in this industry, we can definitely pursue something better for the country in general. And I can tell you that it was harder even 10 years ago when I started my undergraduate. I can't believe it's 10 years ago, but yeah, it was. So in that moment, I was not even aware of what industry was here available in the country. Querétaro is growing very fast in the aerospace sector, but I don't think it's linked directly to the academical level. So I think there is a huge gap that has to be narrowed there, because at the moment, or many people in this field can tell you that there is not enough specific professionals for this field. The majority come from other backgrounds that at the end of the day get specialized in these topics, but from their academical background, they have no previous experience. So I see an opportunity there for us to raise up the level of the professionals in the country, and also for the industry that will be the first benefited from these efforts.
Great. Well, we ran out of time. We still have so many questions to answer, but we would like to thank everyone for attending today. Thank you so much, Maria, for sharing your experience with us. And as everyone was sending in the questions, and big congratulations on your achievements. You're really inspiring. Thank you, Gemma, for sharing information about all the work that Sheffield is doing towards inclusion, gender inclusion, and engineering. And remember, this week we'll be having different webinars leading to International Women's Day that you can sign up. If you haven't, you can just look on social media, #OutstandingWomen, and I'm pretty sure you will find all the sessions that we still have ahead related to this campaign. And again, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you all of you for taking the time in joining this.
Thank you. And well, we actually have another webinar coming up
Hello.
now if you want to sign up. And yeah, we will be in touch with the recording and also Maria's and Gemma contact details, so you can follow up with any question that you may have with them as well. Thank you very much.
Hello, can you hear me? I just wanted to give a big thank you for all of you who joined, and thank you very much for taking the time. I will come up with the answers to the rest of the questions, and I'll be able to share them if we have your emails, because I don't want you to think that we're not answering your questions. I am very